Right, so we are going to look at a quick posture check. So for this, we want you standing on a nice firm surface. Whip your socks and your shoes off. So just give you a second, quickly take your socks and shoes off because we're going to have a go at this. And what I would like you to do is stand in a nice, what you think is your neutral position. So just stand up nice and comfortably, how you feel. Don't put too much thought into it, just stand how you feel nice and comfortable, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to break it down from the bottom to the top, how we should be standing, and we'll see how close to your normal it is. So let's start with the feet. Now, think about where your feet are on the ground. Now, especially for me, my natural position is standing with my feet out like this. It is much more comfortable, but just try, if you can, to bring your feet so that they are facing in front of you, okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to look at where the weight's going down through our legs, okay? So what I would like you to do is just roll your centre of gravity forwards onto your toes and then roll it back onto your heels. Not so that you're lifting your toes up, just taking the pressure forwards to your front of your feet and back to your heels. That's it. Now just make that movement smaller and smaller until we get to a midway point. So you've got equal pressure going down onto your toes as you have down onto your heels, okay? Then we're going to look at the positioning left to right, okay? Most of us will have a preferred side that we're quite used to just sort of standing in this position, and that's quite normal for us. But when we're talking about balancing out the forces through your body and looking at good posture, we want equal pressure through both feet. So just ask yourself, do you feel like you're standing more heavy on one foot than the other? And then just take your weight just gently from one side to the other and just feel the pressure and the weight going down onto your feet. You'll feel that you like for me, I stand on my right leg quite often. So putting the weight onto my right leg feels normal. Taking the weight across onto the left, I feel like I'm doing a little bit more work and I'm having to push harder to get the weight onto that side. So see if you can find that balance point equally between both feet. Okay, once you've done that, you've now got equal pressure on the fronts of the back and you've got equal pressure on left and right. Perfect. We'll take our focus up to the knees now. So when we're standing with our knees, some of us are guilty of standing with our knees really locked back, and when you lock your knees back, you sort of overwork all your quad muscles and we're not really activating for our glutes or anything like that. So just soften the knees, not so that they're bent, but just there. So if that's the locked position, I'm just taking them softly so that if I was taking my sort of imagination, my knees would be directly above my ankle joints, okay? Then we take the focus up to the pelvis. Okay, now some of us stand with our bottoms stuck out, some of us slump down into our posture, so we're all sort of congested down into the pelvis. We want to be midway between the two, so just ask yourself, am I sticking my bottom out or am I tucking my bottom under? Okay, and we're going to just see if we can get into a neutral position there, so we're not too far stuck out and we're not too far tucked under. So just have a little play with that and just see if you can get that mid position. Again, we're taking our focus so that the hip bones are directly on top of the knees and the knees on top of the ankles. And as you've just checked what's going on through there, just take your focus back to your feet and check that nothing's moved, so you're still equal front to back and left to right. So just refocus in with that, just check that's fine, and just check you haven't locked your knees back so they're still nice and soft. Perfect, so we've now got from the waist down sorted. Now what we're going to do is imagine each one of the vertebrae in our spine have got a little piece of elastic between them, and we're going to lengthen them up, almost like someone's had a hook at the top of your head and lifted you up towards the ceiling, so standing up nice and tall. Now if you are the type of person that stands like shoulders forwards, which is probably about 90% of the population, as soon as you lift up through the spine, you'll notice that your shoulders automatically come back round into that midline position anyway. Okay, so we've lengthened through the spine. Now we take the focus to what's going on with the head, and most people's posture, or the most common postures nowadays, is the chin poke. So we stand with the head facing forwards, and this is for a number of reasons. It's computers, it's phones, it's tablets, it's all sorts of things like that. But what we want to do is make sure that the ears are directly on top of your shoulders. So if I was standing side on, most people's postures are like this. Imagine that someone's grabbed the back of my head and lifted it up towards the ceiling. Automatically that brings the ears back in line with the shoulders. Okay, so just ask yourself now, all the way down, if I was to draw a line down the centre of or the side of my body, would I be able to draw a straight line down through my ear, my shoulder, my hip, my knees and my ankle. Okay, and we just stand up in that a tall position. Have a check in with your shoulders. If they were like this and standing up has brought them slightly back, just check that they are in line with the rest of the body. You may have to do a little bit of work in the muscles in your shoulder blades just to engage them a little bit to bring them back. But just watch that you don't overstick your chest out, okay? That's not good posture. We want to be nicely in line, okay? Right, so just a quick scan from bottom to top again. So feet, pressure is equal front to back, left to right, knees are soft, pelvis is in that neutral position. You've lifted up through each one of the vertebrae in your spine. Your ears are stacked on top of your shoulders, so you've lengthened the back of your neck and you've brought your chin back, and you've opened through the chest so that your shoulders are stacked on top of each other. And just ask yourself now, does this feel comfortable? And if the answer is yes, this feels comfortable, then you're probably doing all the right things. You probably haven't had to change too much to get into that position. If the answer is, oh my goodness, this feels like I'm standing like a robot or completely unnaturally, then the chances are what you've probably done is you've got so used to a certain type of posture that certain muscle groups have started to work a little bit harder than they should do. Other muscle groups have got a little bit weak and are not doing what they should do. And that can cause problems in the future. It might not do, but it can do. Especially sort of if we talk neck and shoulder area, or if you have got that chin poke and the shoulders curled forwards, eventually that puts a lot of strain on the back of the neck. It can lead to neck pain, upper back pain, shoulder pain. It can lead to headaches, sort of tension headaches and things like that. It can also lead to issues with the muscles around your jaw and the way that you grip your teeth and things like that. So there's a lot of things that our posture can be involved with. So if you have felt like you've had to make quite a lot of changes in order to get that nice neutral posture that we've just spoken about, get in touch with us and we can give you the right exercises in order to help you out and make sure that you are standing a lot more correctly. So if you want to know more, please get in touch.